Good morning, y'all. It is Thursday morning, and I'm sitting out here on my deck. Don't you love being outside in God's beautiful creation? Dallas Willard made a statement one time that said that beauty is God's goodness being made manifest to the senses. And when you get out in nature, even if it's just out on your deck, out by your house, or out in the woods, or have the privilege of going someplace beautiful and be able to see mountains and scenery, you can't help but feel closer to the Lord. And I love that. This is Straightforward Therapeutics. I'm Gary Duke. I'm your host. I am really enjoying visiting with you all. This is session number 4 in our new YouTube channel. We have been talking a lot about journaling and how to use a journal as a means of gaining more deeper insight about ourselves. Hopefully some of you guys are practicing that now that we've been talking about it and kind of encouraging you to do it. I was thinking about a situation that happened a couple of weeks ago. I had the privilege of being down in Florida with my wife and my daughter and my 2 grandchildren. And we had a little situation that occurred where I was watching my grandkids out by the swimming pool, and my youngest one kind of had a meltdown, and I reacted to that, not in a way like blowing up and being angry and stuff, but just didn't make a good choice. I really used poor problem solving skills. And I tell my guys in group all the time, the biggest mistake that people make oftentimes when they're doing problem solving is what would seem to be like the easiest part, which is identifying the problem. But most usually we're trying to fix a problem that really doesn't need to be fixed. Maybe the other problem, there's something else that's causing the problem, in other words. And in this case, that was it. But it really bothered me because when it was all said and done, I thought, man, that was so stupid of me. I cannot believe I didn't think that through better than I did. And I got up the next morning and actually got my journal out, and I just started writing about it. And one of the questions I asked myself was, what would have made a difference? How could I have done this? What would have caused me to take a different route in trying to solve this problem? And there were several things that I thought about that, could have made a difference. And just in the process of doing that, it kind of helped me a little bit to get more settled and focused. And of course, anytime you have a situation, when you are looking at it honestly with open eyes, usually there's people that need to be apologized to, which I had already done. But, if you're in a situation where you have a conflict with somebody, and you go home and you get up, you give it a little time to settle into your spirit. Get up the next day, get your journal out, start writing about it. It really helps you to see it with fresh eyes. And possibly those fresh eyes might possibly cause you to decide that there's a little bit of amends that need to be made on your part as well. And so, life is an everyday thing. And we don't have to really look hard for life to throw us a curveball once in a while. It just automatically just comes around the corner, and there we are. And so we have to begin to learn how to deal with life on life's terms. Your journal's a great tool to do that and kind of process a little bit. If I'm having a discussion with my wife and something she says rubs me the wrong way, if I'm smart and I don't just open my mouth and react to that, if I give thought to it, I could ask myself, why does that bother me so much? Why did that bother me? And a lot of times I try to remember some of those things in 1 Corinthians chapter 13, where it describes love. Where it says love is kind, and love is not proud, and love is not envious, and love is not easily irritated, and love does not puff itself up. And so usually if I am being honest with myself, I can look at inside of me, and I can think, the reason why that really bothered me was because of my pride, or because it kind of I felt jealous or whatever. And so easily able to really identify what my role and my responsibility in that situation is. And that's always helpful, always helpful. I want to talk to you for a minute about something Dallas Willard wrote about in Renovation of the Heart, because as we're beginning this process of really trying to grow, emotionally, interpersonally, spiritually, especially spiritually. And as we begin this process, Dallas Willard wrote a book called Renovation of the Heart, where he talks about how, we can be more transformed into the image of Christ. And he uses a model called the VIM model, VIM, VIM. And the way that works is it can be used in any type of situation, whether it's an organization or a church or a family or a person or whatever. But, the V in the model is vision. And the thing that you ask yourself is, what would my life look like if this problem was solved? And so, as you start to kind of interact with your journal and you start identifying some of the things that have been problematic for you possibly throughout the course of your life and in your relationships or whatever, or even, in just your personal thinking and what have you, ask yourself, what would my life look like if I could conquer this? If I could find out the keys that I need to overcome that, how would that affect me? How would it affect the people around me? And, and get the vision of where it is that you're wanting to go to. It's kind of like the why, the why for what you do something. And you got to have a why. And so you get the vision. The I in the VIM model is intention or intentional. And basically what that means is that after we get the vision of where it is that we're trying to get to, we have to be intentional to the place to where we are willing to make a commitment. And so straightforward therapeutics is a way for you to kind of begin to make a commitment for positive change. If you get on this train with us and you start watching these YouTube videos every Tuesday and Thursday, it's my prayer that the Holy Spirit is going to lead us and guide us in a way that's going to cause growth to take place in your life and transformation. I'm getting ready to start a 12-step recovery group in my church, and I'm going to call it Straightforward, ironically. And one of the things that I really want to get across to my church body is where I attend is that this is not just about addressing pornography issues or alcohol or drug issues, those outward behaviors that seem to be so unappealing, because those are really symptoms of a much deeper issue. We all have things inside of us that have been a stumbling block or a stronghold or just an area of our life that we've never been able to totally get control of. And so, it's like this is time to figure it out. And, to really become a better person and grow in a place to where we are more effective for the kingdom of God. We're more effective in our family as a dad or as a mom or whatever it might be. And you have to be intentional to do that. You have to be willing to commit to it. And so hopefully you're committed as I am. And then the last one is method. M is method, or the means. What is the means? You got to put legs to it, And so they always say the difference between a goal and a dream and a goal is a plan. A dream is a good thing to have. But if all it is a dream, it's probably not going to come about. But if we've got a plan to make that dream a reality, now we're talking about something. We are going to achieve something beyond that. And another thing about your journal is that when you write it down, when you begin to identify what it is you want to do, and you write that down. I want to be more patient. I want the love of God to be seen in me more. I want to have more self-control. I want more self-discipline. I'm going to finally get a hold of this lust that is constantly plaguing me. I'm going to be more open and honest and less secretive in my relationship. And when you start looking at these things and you say, okay, that's what I'm going to do, and I'm going to figure out what it takes to do that. There is a great book called Atomic Habits by a guy by the name of James Clear. And it's a wonderful book. And if you look in there, you can see a lot of great examples and tools that you can use to form good habits. And one of the things that James Clear talks about is attaching a new habit that you're wanting to form with a habit that's good that you're already doing. So, for example, it's going to be really important for you to journal regularly. And and so, like, if you decide that every night before I brush my teeth to go to bed, I'm going to journal, or maybe after I brush my teeth, I'm going to journal a little bit. And so you're actually attaching the habit of journaling to something that you've already doing that's positive. And so you're kind of like combining those two habits, which is a great idea. And so there's one way that you can kind of start becoming a little more consistent. Self-discipline breeds self-control. And so as you discipline yourself to in every, you'll start seeing those things in your life begin to take shape, where you are really paying more attention to your behaviors in so many more ways than you ever thought about. And so, like, it's kind of like I used to run. I ran for 14 years till my foot got to where I couldn't run anymore. And but I ran daily. Several miles every day. And so anyway, but if I got off the running train for a little bit and, kind of fell off the wagon, and there'd be a period of time when I wasn't running, and I'd think, okay, I'm going to during that time, usually my eating was probably also a little more out of control. I was less conscious about what I ate. And but if I got up in the morning and I went out and ran, I'm probably not going to eat a quarter pounder with supersized fries for lunch, because I'm thinking to myself, why would I do that if I just spent the time doing this other? And so as you begin to journal, as you start taking these steps to get yourself on a more positive train, what you're going to find is that there's other areas of your life that you're going to look at and go, wow, that's counterproductive too. I need to do something about that as well. And so I'm encouraged. I want to encourage you. Our next session will be talking about something other than journaling, I promise you. But I hope that you will keep that journal tight and close to you, and really begin to utilize it. And be sure and like and share and follow. We are Straightforward Therapeutics. Remember, straight because we're laser focused. Forward because we're making progress. Remember, progress, not perfection. That's what we're shooting for, progress. And Straightforward Therapeutics. Therapeutics is about healing. It's about cure. It's about attending to one another. It's about making a difference. And so I hope to see you Tuesday morning. And until then, God bless you guys.